this weekend as we look forward to Sunday's slate of games. Jeremy already mentioned that Kyle Pitts injury. That's a big one. A lot of solid names who will not suit up come Sunday. A chance still for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to suit up. Wide receivers on the Giants side very hurt. All offense is what we're looking at right here. We welcome in Josina Anderson as we get ready for this slate of Sunday to talk more about the injuries on the field this weekend. Our senior NFL insider, Josina Anderson's here. Josina, Giants incredibly thin at wide receiver. They already don't have Sterling Shepard. Kenny Golladay is out. Wan'Dale Robinson and now Kadarius Toney also will miss this weekend. Who can they rely on?
Well, it's a very precarious situation for the Giants because even before you get to their wide receiver situation is really first and foremost, they're fortunate to have Daniel Jones playing, who was limited this week with that ankle injury. And then now he is playing. But even before I just get to the wide receivers, I wanted to say that Tyrod Taylor is out with the concussion, and their backup in London is Davis Webb, who has never started, who's only played one game. And that was for the Bills last year in week 9 and didn't throw a pass in that game and had 2 carries for -3 yards. So that's just to add to that. Then you get to the wide receiver situation, and you're correct with Kenny Golladay out with the knee, Kadarius Toney out with the hamstring. That's been an aggravation that's been going on since training camp. And even Brian Daboll said that it's not potentially without question that they may consider putting him on IR, in which case, if that were to happen, he would miss a minimum of 4 games. So you're dealing with that. And then Wan'Dale Robinson also dealing with the knee. So right now they're very thin at wide receiver, and they would have to be considering guys like Richie James, and they would also have to be considering guys like David Sills to potentially come in there right now. Nobody that has gotten over 100 receiving yards this season, and that just makes it a very problematic situation for the Giants, particularly when you consider that the wide receiver production right now for them ranks 31st with 400 some receiving yards, and that's just ahead of the Bears, who has 200 some receiving yards right now. So overall, not a very good situation for the Giants right now.
All those injuries. There's a guy out there who's in free agency. He's been visiting all the teams, doing his own little version of college visits. You're reporting that former Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., that he's met with some of the players on that team. Can we see a reunion happening here?
So let's just kind of set the table as to what happened. So this goes back to Monday night when I put out the tweet on the same day that Landon Collins, who obviously recently just signed with the team and is out there with them in London, had his workout with the team. Odell Beckham Jr., yes, was in the facility where the Giants practice and they work. And that was very interesting when you consider the fact that this is the team who obviously traded him to a team that he didn't necessarily pick. It wasn't a free agent situation. Obviously, he went on there to, have a relatively good time, particularly with his best friend, Jarvis Landry, and obviously did some good things there and went on to play with the Rams and get a Super Bowl ring. But at the end of the day, it was it wasn't the best situation at the time. And so for him to come back to that facility is very notable, particularly, yes, if you're visiting friends like Sterling Shepard and other members of the team, you don't have to do that at their place of work. You could do that at their residence. So that is notable. And then when you couple it with the situation going on with their wide receivers right now, you could see potentially why there might be informal talks or just informal networking going on, showing your face at a time when Odell Beckham Jr. is just checking various situations out, which he's allowed to do as a free agent. So it's all notable. But yes, you keep that in the context of the fact that he hurt his ACL Valentine's Day week for Super Bowl. So he is not near to that being 100% and being able to join a team right now. But yes, you are saying hello, you are paying your respects to your former teammates and your friends, and at the same time, likely gathering information as well.
That would be very interesting if he decided to head back to New York. I know we will continue to wait and see what happens there. We got some more injuries to get to as well. Josina, this one in that Falcons-Bucks game, second-year tight end, do-it-all guy Kyle Pitts. He'll be out this weekend with a hamstring injury. What more can you tell us about that one?
Well, yeah, this is going to be the first game missed. He is now officially ruled out for that game. He missed the last three practices due to this hamstring injury, which has been notable from the standpoint that Kyle Pitts is a guy that they very much rely on. When you go back and look at his rookie year, he had over that 1,000 yards receiving. Right now, he's off to a slower start by comparison, not relative to his talent. He has one game against the Seahawks where he had 87 receiving yards, just 10 receptions for 150 total. So they not only need him to be at full strength health wise, they need him to get back to the potential that they saw last year. And then when you couple that with the fact that Cordero Patterson was put on IR on Monday, and he accounts for 25% of their production from scrimmage, that combined with the fact that Marcus Mariota hasn't passed for over 230 passing yards this season, it's not a good deal for this Falcons offense to get back on track in the second year of Arthur Smith being head coach.
I know a lot of folks out there in Atlanta and fantasy owners have been wanting to see Kyle Pitts get the ball thrown his way a lot more often, so hopefully he can get back on the field soon. Someone who might be returning to the field, though, is Jadeveon Clowney. He's back at practice this week after he missed the past 2 games with an ankle injury. Will he be ready to suit up against the Chargers?
Well, it makes sense that he listed as questionable. And just when you look at his past, especially in terms of how he interacts with the training staff and the coaching staff relative to determining his status for a game, they often go on how Clowney feels. I mean, there are times when I've been told the night before that Clowney's going to go only to go through warmups and then not go. So this is the situation where you just really have to watch it up until game time after hurting that ankle week 2 against the Jets. But this is notable when you count the fact that together for the first time, Myles Garrett this season and Jadeveon Clowney missed the game last week against the team we were just talking about, the Falcons. And not only did they miss that as far as having the combo, but they also lost that game against the Falcons 23-20. So if they definitely do not want to repeat that situation together with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon being out. Right now, you also have Myles at least being able to practice with that shoulder and bicep situation that he had and that he incurred as an injury following that accident. So it's definitely something to watch.
Josina, we can't let you go without talking about what happened Thursday night. I mean, what did we see last night? Russell Wilson, he just not playing good football in Denver. The interceptions. Is it time to panic if you're a Broncos fan?
Well, I think you have to take a little bit of a macro perspective on Russell Wilson. First and foremost, this guy's a 9-time Pro Bowler and he's a Super Bowl champ. So let's not forget that. You don't know how to play quarterback and then overnight forget it. What you have to do is taking into account that there is a period of acclimation to a new offense and a new situation, particularly when he's been with the team so very long. It takes time. But when you look at last night in that game, it wasn't easy to watch. I mean, Russell Wilson went 21 for 39 for 279 receiving yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Right now, you also have to look at the fact that statistically, the Seahawks ranked 31st in points per game at 15, just ahead of the Colts, the team that they played, which ranked dead last at 13.8. And even worse, when you look at their 4th down conversions, or rather their red zone conversions, they've had 14 attempts and they've only converted 3, ranking a league worst right now at 21.4 in terms of their red zone conversion. So that's not at all what he wants, what he's accustomed to, not what Nathaniel Hackett is looking for. So they have to get it together. I think what's a little bit more of an interesting discussion is just kind of this notion of what is Russell Wilson's relatability relative to how he comes off or the perception of him. And I think that's more of an interesting topic. And I think that's something that you kind of maybe have to spend more time asking people in the Denver Broncos organization or his teammates. We saw KJ Hamler kind of going off in the back of the end zone last night when Russell Wilson missed him wide open to get to him. And, you know, some other screenshots that people are putting on, you know, social media, what have you, which obviously is not indicative of what is the exact reality. But relative to his experience in Seattle, I do think it's somewhat of a fair question, not his prowess or his talent as a quarterback per se, in terms of getting that on track. So if that is a situation, maybe it is a apropos conversation for Russell Wilson and the staff to have relative to just making sure that, especially going through adversity, things like that, whether that perception is reality or not with Denver, is something that is further hampering them on the team, in addition to the technical stuff that they need to work out on the field.
But hey, it's still Broncos country. Let's ride. She's our senior NFL insider, Josina Anderson.
He's being positive. Let him be positive. He's being positive. I mean, what should he say? Let's not ride?
Let's hide. It's not the time for that. It wasn't time for that. You know, just right. In the press conference and go to the locker room. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what he should have said. Go Broncos.
Thank you. Have a good night. I'll try to keep you in the stands next week.
Okay. Have a good night. Okay. You said that, not me, but I hear you.
That's what we're rocking with. She is our senior NFL insider, Josina Anderson, with all the information you need to know about Week 5. Don't forget, you can stream new episodes of Inside the NFL with Julian Edelman, Brandon Marshall, and Ray Lewis exclusively on Paramount+.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.